President-elect Donald Trump has not addressed these protests specifically today. He did tweet this a little earlier, though. He said, "This will prove to be a great time in the lives of all Americans. We will unite and we will win, win, win." Let's bring in our panel to discuss. Julian Zelizer is with me. He's a historian and a professor at Princeton. Jack Kingston is with me, a senior advisor to Donald Trump and a former congressman from Georgia. And Anousheh Hussain, a journalist and editor-in-chief of Anousheh'sPoint.com, a Muslim American who did not support Donald Trump. Congressman, let me begin with you. What we just heard from our reporters is that these protesters are saying that they will not tolerate a presidency that continues on the path of some of the rhetoric heard during the campaign, things like questioning the ability of a judge with Hispanic heritage, Judge Curiel, to do his job because of his heritage, something even Paul Ryan called the textbook definition of racism, some of the misogynistic things that he said about women. Do you hear them on that?
You know, I think they're the ones who don't want to let go of that. I mean, if their message is "this is love," then I don't think they're going to get it through, not based on those images of love that we just saw. You know, Donald Trump, 4 a.m. Wednesday morning, made a magnificent speech. The next day, Hillary Clinton did. The next day, he met with President Obama in a very, very dignified way. We have seen nothing but a high tone coming out of Mr. Trump. And we've seen it really in the last couple of months of the campaign. Let me just stop you there,
because not nothing. Because he did tweet late Thursday night, professional protesters are incited by the media. They are protesting very unfair.
Well, let me say this. It's just remarkable to me as a conservative, because we just don't have the instant riot apparatus that the left seems to have. It's just as remarkable that you can have such organic, spontaneous riots and demonstrations. But let me say this.
What do you mean?
I understand.
Isn't that the heart? I mean, you tweeted that these protesters are whining. Isn't, you know, expressing one's opinions and protesting, exercising their First Amendment rights sort of fundamental to democracy when it's done peacefully?
When it's done peacefully. That's not what we've seen in Portland. That's not what we saw in Los Angeles when they blocked Highway 101.
Look,
they had vandalism of police cars.
There has been violence and vandalism, and some police officers have been hurt, and that is unacceptable. But the mayor of LA just told me earlier today that the large majority of them are peaceful.
Yeah, the large majority of the people always are peaceful, and the large majority of Trump people were too, but Hillary Clinton still called them deplorable. What about that image of young children hitting a piñata of the president-elect of the United States of America? Well, I never saw anything like that on the conservative. I mean, it is repulsive to me to see a child with a stick hit in effigy president-elect. I mean, it's just, I think it's disturbing for left and right. Again, what's going on inside the White House with President Clinton and President-elect Trump and President Obama is very dignified. It's setting a great tone. I think these people are going to be...
I think you make an important point, because a message of unity has come from President Obama has said that, Hillary Clinton has said that, and you're right. I think we have that image we can pull up for our viewers so they can see what you're talking about. That was surprising to me, too, to see that. So, Anousheh, to you, as a Muslim American who did not support Donald Trump, who's very disturbed by some of the things he said on the campaign trail, I mean, what is your response to seeing something like this? Do you agree with the congressman? And what would you like to see President-elect Donald Trump come out and do? Should he come meet with these protesters?
Well, I think that it's really disturbing, Poppy, that so many Trump supporters and so many Trump surrogates are so disturbed by the protest against President-elect Trump, but are not disturbed by the fact that he was endorsed by the KKK, that the KKK has announced a massive rally on December 3rd. And I think that's what's really important.
An endorsement, just to be clear here, an endorsement that he did denounce, and I should say that the Republican Party of that state has denounced that rally. However, Donald Trump has not addressed it
exactly. And I think that as the president-elect, it is his responsibility to unite all of us. He ran on a very divisive campaign, which ran on, you know, not only a Muslim ban, it was anti-immigration, it was anti-women, it was he stipulated that women who get abortions should be punished. And, you know, a tweet is not enough. He needs to come out, and as a Clinton supporter, I have accepted that he is our president. And it's really important for Trump to come out and say, don't commit these violent hate crimes in my name. I represent all Americans. I accept all Americans. And I really hope that's what we hear from him. This is America. People have the right right to protest. I don't think that it's correct or justified for Trump to call these protesters, these Americans, paid protesters, professional protesters.
Anousheh, let me just say for our viewers, the next morning, as you all know, he came out and he tweeted, "Love the fact that a small group of protesters last night have passion for our great country.
Yes.
We will all come together and be proud." So a very different message. Julian Zelizer, to you, you say these protests are more than one party losing to another. You're the historian. What does this mean to you? What are we seeing?
Yeah, this isn't simply partisanship, meaning one party lost and some people from the other party are unhappy. This is a natural response to one of the most divisive campaigns that we have seen in American history. Many Americans feel that that campaign was hurtful, it was hateful, and it alienated many people, and they are expressing their opinion. These are not riots. And I don't think that's the way to characterize them. These are protests. And I think the most effective thing for Donald Trump to do would be, rather than target the protesters, to try to speak to them. Let's see if Donald Trump can actually address some of the concerns they're talking about.
Julian Zelizer, Congressman Jack Kingston, and Anousheh Hussain, I am out of time. I appreciate you all being with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ahead this hour, we are